Hi, and welcome to Voice Notes from My Bathroom. This is my first episode. Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm a productivity strategist and a home educating mum of three, and I share quick voice note style episodes as I run my business in 10 to 12 hours a week, helping people lighten their load so they can spend time on what matters. For this episode, I'm going to talk about discipline versus clarity. But before I get into today's episode, I want to quickly explain where the idea for this podcast came from. So in 2020, during the lockdown, I used to voice note my friend from my bathroom just to shut out the noise. It was the only place I could get some peace and quiet. So my kids were back in school then, and I wasn't used to the constant chaos. And time really does make fools of us all, because look at me now. I thought I didn't have time when they were in school. Now I'm home educating. So now I really have to make the most of my time. These episodes of people who are carrying a lot mentally, emotionally, practically, often through unpaid work at home, but maybe you have business or some kind of paid work too. And I want to help you get faster and more efficient at the things you don't love, like doing the dishes. So you have more time and headspace for the things you do love, like maybe it is working on your business or spending time with people you love, or maybe just doing stuff for yourself. So, inside these episodes, I'll give you some pep talks, practical ideas, and my thoughts on building systems for smoother days and more organized weeks, alongside what it's really like running my business with real life happening all around me. So, think of it as kind of voice notes you'd love to get from someone who just gets it, because a lot of traditional productivity advice doesn't recognize all that we're carrying. It ignores the mental load, transition, energy, the kids, and the invisible unending work. And lots of that can be really fun, and lots of it can be like things that we want to do, but it doesn't mean that it makes it less. It's still lots to do. And the solution that is usually offered by traditional productivity advice is to optimize harder, wake up earlier, be more disciplined, squeeze more out of every hour. Lots of the advice assumes that, people have a whole wife at home who does it all for them. And even the advice that is time management for mums often just assumes that you want to do more so that you can do more for your family. And I want us to be able to do more things that really light us up. And apart from anything else, we are tired and we don't want to turn into capitalistic productivity robots. At least I don't. And it's pretty hard to look at just work based productivity when you're sitting there and you've got a messy kitchen in sight, or you are thinking about what you're going to make for dinner while you're trying to do your work, which is why for me, I feel like, yes, I'd talk about business and productivity in business or in your work, but it's also all the things around it, which is why I look at a whole life approach when it comes to productivity. So if you've bought into anti-hustle and you know that you deserve rest, you're already worthy of rest, but you're thinking, okay, well, what now? Because the kids still have to eat and you still have a load of things to do, then this is where my work comes in. So I like to think of it as time management, but make it feminist. And sometimes discipline, like I was talking before, is part of the picture, but a lot of the time what we're actually missing is something else. So I want to tell you a bit about me and my work, and now I'm going to get into what I'd like to talk about today. So I have been thinking a lot recently about how discipline is used as something that we think we just need more of, right? We need more discipline. If only I could be more disciplined. And sometimes, for sure, I think we do need discipline. I think sometimes what we actually need is more clarity instead of discipline. So this podcast is a perfect example of that. I'm going to tell you what's happened. So, well, how I came to this conclusion. So for weeks, I was trying to create content in a way that just did not fit me. Like some of my content, yes, absolutely fits the way that I work, and I've been making it work for me. But what I would really love to do is a whole series of like beautifully designed videos, gorgeous transitions, sound effects, graphics, the works. And that is absolutely like my eldest daughter, designer brain fantasy. I can make things look amazing, but the reality is that those videos would take far too long. Like absolutely unhinged amount of times that I do not have, even though I'd love a series and I'm sure there's ways that I can make it quicker, etc., etc. But I know myself and I know that I will want it to be a certain way, right? And knowing yourself is one of the best things to help you move faster. So then I thought, okay, I could do talking head style videos, right? Something casual, something messy, something imperfect and real, just where you show up and you talk to camera. And I've seen people talking about that a lot recently, that you can just do that and go ahead and yap. And I've even seen videos that are like, this is how you yap effectively. And then it feels like it's not really just getting on camera and talking. But anyway, I like that idea in theory, but then I start overthinking and I know that I won't be able to ignore the framing and the lighting and how I look. And I would love to just be able to coach myself through that, but I know I don't have the time or the mindset to be able to coach myself through that right now, right? That however I show up in camera is fine. The season I'm in, just that's not where I'm at. And I can't pretend I don't care. So knowing myself again, I was like, okay, that's not going to work. But when I started thinking about it, hang on one second. When I started thinking about it, I was like, oh, I've had the idea for this podcast, right? I've had the idea for this podcast. Maybe that's the good alternative. I know that I will be able to just show up. So I thought to myself, what feels easy? What feels comfortable? What feels aligned with where I'm at right now? And instantly I knew it was this. And I could have looked at that as like a discipline problem. Oh, I just have to be really disciplined with my time. I just have to be really focused. I just have to get this done. I just have to do that. And instead, all of those things, and that doesn't mean that we don't sometimes do hard things, but all of those things will be making it harder than I need to make it. And so, isn't that true for so many things in life? We're making it harder than it actually needs to be. And I instantly knew, okay, I can do this. I can just talk on voice notes, make it feel easier, raw, unedited, from my bathroom sometimes, not always. It's the concept, right? I'm not actually always going to be in my bathroom. But the idea is that it's not necessarily perfect. It's messy, it's quick, it's doable. And as soon as I realized that, everything fell into place. I went to my husband and I was like, this is your brief. I need you to take a photo of me in the bathroom as if you've come home from work and the kids are like, mum's in the bathroom, because life is overwhelming sometimes, and home educating and being with your kids all day long can be quite exhausting. So that was the idea, is that I wanted him to like find me in the bathroom as if I voice noted a friend, like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And he took the photo, I added the text, went through a couple of iterations, had it all uploaded onto Spotify for Creators on my phone. I've literally got my whole setup for my podcast on my phone. And if you're interested in doing a short kind of an unedited type easy podcast like this, I can share that with you as well, how I do that. But I made it really easy, and then it wasn't about this discipline. It all came together so quick because I made it easy and I got clear. And so that's why I'm thinking so much that it's not about discipline always. Sometimes it's about something else, and often it's clarity. So if you are thinking yourself, okay, I'm struggling to get going on this, I just need to be more disciplined, what can you get clearer on? How can you link it to like what fits in my life? What's my direction? What am I aiming for? What do I want to tie this to? What bigger thing can I tie this to? Yeah, where am I making things harder than they need to be? So that's my thoughts for today, because once you get clear, like truly clear on stuff, then the kind of resistance to things can melt away a bit and the steps become more obvious and the creativity can step up. So if this is speaking to you and you want more of that, then keep listening for more episodes. And I'm so glad to have you here. That's enough for one episode. And come and talk to me on Instagram if you would like to, amanda.epiaj. And I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.